G'day folks, recently I was asked to do a bit of a revamp on an old Caravan. The layout of the Caravan was in not very good condition, so we moved a couch and in its place I was going to build a breakfast bar or breakfast table. I set my table saw up to cut these in half. These pieces of pine were going to act as cleats. I then pre-drilled and countersunk into the bottom and also into the side. So these were going to act as a fastening mechanism that would screw into both the tabletop and also into the wall of the Caravan. I find by doing some pre-assembly, it does help a lot to when you get to the stage of wanting to fit this into position into the Caravan. And yes, for this reason I did it this way. Now I'm using my faithful Aldi screws, the Work Zone range, as well as my wonderful Aldi Work Zone impact driver. I've had it for years, it hasn't let me down, and these are good tools to get if you're on a budget. This type of DIY project is very easy, and it comes up a treat when you, at the end of the day, when you look at the end result. It cost me approximately $65 to construct this, and that was in purchasing the items such as spray paint, the timbers, and I already had the screws on hand, so that was already an advantage. Cutting these down to a sufficient height, these are the legs. I did have to measure them out to be sufficient to make some clearance for some bar stools that were going to be sitting in underneath this table. As for the joinery, I'm using this very ancient art of something that was lost in the history books years and years ago, but I've sort of resurrected it. I'm using screws, and I find that they're pretty effective and fast. So I'm putting the screws in from underneath the legs. Now, the front of the table, where it meets the wall of the Caravan, at the bottom of that wall, there's a concave pattern, so it sort of arcs out. I had to put these legs at the front of the table, so you'll see as I go the positioning. So just going about this ancient art of joinery here, just bear with me. Oh yes, and you need to add glue, that's the key. All jokes aside, you can use whatever method of joinery you wish to. This was going to not be seen directly. Screws are hidden, and once you paint things or put a finish on, you basically, the only criticism you may find is if you haven't aligned things correctly. But yes, by all means, use dowels, dominoes, whatever you wish, lap joints. So giving this a nice sand up now. It's pine. I think I went up to about a 320 grit, and I then went about painting it to make it look quite nice. I'm painting this up with a black satin spray can. I love using these spray cans. They're really good. They get the job done quick and they dry very fast. As for the tabletop finish, I applied 3 coats of Poly-X oil, and I find this stuff's pretty good to work with. You put a bit on and sort of let it soak in, and then come back with another rag and buff it up a bit in between the coatings. So yes, it's a good product. So I don't normally request, beg or plead for any donations of any money or anything like that, guys. All I do ask is if you did enjoy my video that you perhaps subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and give me a thumbs up and hit the notification bell for when I do put other things out. I do some tool reviews, I do some build videos, and generally it's a DIY based channel which I enjoy doing, and my biggest reward is the interaction, and the success of the channel depends on the people watching it. So I thank you in advance if you are going to do that. After doing all this, we're going to let the finish dry, and this is what I mentioned earlier in the video about attaching these legs in this orientation and closer to the front of where the table is. As I mentioned, the fit out, once I go to the Caravan, it won't allow me to put these legs in a different way. So basically this is going to be the setup, and when I looked at it at the finished result, I was quite pleased of how it turned out. So attaching this with screws once again, and always measure your screws because you don't want to be popping through the top. En route now to the particular Caravan park to fit these up. As I was talking about earlier in the video, doing the pre-preparation work here, as you can see, makes the installation so much easier. There's no guesswork, it eliminates all that. As long as you can carry the item and get it through some doorways, manoeuvre it around, it's not too difficult. So I'm using a spirit level here to make sure everything's pretty good, and then I'll commence screwing it into the surface. I'm using tech screws to fasten this to the floor and also to the front wall of the Caravan. Very handy screws, they normally attach to most things. You can see here how it shapes out from the front of the van and sort of curves around. Also using tech screws to fasten the cleat to the front of the van. So this is pretty much the end of the build, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Come back again for my next video, and I'll see you on the other side. Hooroo!